Buddha, or are you talking about a Muslim god? Are you talking about a Chinese god? Are you talking about the Egyptian god Ra? Or are you talking about Polish god Yahweh? Are you what kind of god are you talking about? You're talking about a very
We're talking about a god which is a supreme intelligence and a supreme power, which has created the world and continues to sustain it. That's the type of God we're talking about.
No, see, now you put a lot of things together here. First you say that there's a supreme intelligence. Nobody knows whether this is true or not, and you can't even define what supreme intelligence is. You don't know whether the world was created or whether
I cannot define what
I disagree. Wait a minute,
You're telling me that I cannot define it?
Yes, that's what she said, sir.
Supreme intelligence means the highest possible form of intelligence.
Sir, that doesn't mean anything.
Form of knowledge. That is a simple definition of supreme intelligence.
Sir, wait a moment. Walter Martin wants to say something, sir.
I just want to draw attention once again to Mrs. Murray's line of reasoning. She says, nobody knows whether God exists or not. Nobody can prove it. But Mrs. Murray knows. Because Mrs. Murray says, there is no God.
That no logical arguments have been produced in over 6,000 years of your beating your heads to try to get something
how would you know?
Mrs.
You
Murray,
don't listen.
Mrs. Murray?
You don't listen to any logical argument. You reject logic.
Sir, we do have a number of other calls. Thank you for calling us. Thank you very much, sir.
I just finished with Mrs. Murray.
I realize that, sir, but I mean, you'd like to be on all night, and I don't blame you. I
didn't get my point across.
Well, sir, if you didn't get your point across in this amount of time, then I'm sorry, because there are many, many other people, and they might raise the point that you have in mind. Thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Good morning.
Hello?
Yes.
A Long John level?
Yes, sir. This is he.
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple of comments.
All right, let's cut it down to one. Otherwise, a lot of people will never get on the air tonight.
Very short comments. The first one is that concerning Rabbi Hollander's statement, the Reverend made a point of asking him about Jesus Christ. Now, the Jewish people do relieve themselves of all guilt of killing Jesus Christ. However, what the Reverend was trying to pinpoint the rabbi into saying that Jesus Christ existed as the Messiah. As the Jews
No, don't try to put words into Walter Martin's mouth. That he did not try to say.
Well, if he existed as an historical figure, and then from this historical figure is derived the concept of Messiah.
I wasn't saying that.
According to your argument, it logically follows that.
Good heavens, how we detest logic tonight. Well, look, all I said to the rabbi was that it was a very simple thing. All I wanted him to say was, historic Judaism has always denied guilt or complicity in the death of Jesus of Nazareth. And he said, yes, true.
Yeah, and then you asked them whether the Jewish people believed in whether Jesus Christ existed or not.
I said, I asked him if it was not true that in history, the Jewish scholars always conceded the historical existence of Christ.
Postulating
They have conceded him. They believe that he existed as a person, but not as a Messiah.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to prove.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Can I make one more comment?
No, sir, I'm sorry. We have a lot of other calls. We would be unfair to the other listeners as well. I appreciate your interest. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Oh, I could almost believe in this whole thing, by the time I got on. All right, I have a question for Madalyn Murray.
All right, what is it, please?
I am an atheist. I have a daughter. She has gone to private school for 8 years. I had no problem. They were very liberal in their views, and they didn't, bother me about that. Now she's ready to go into a high school, another private. Now, she solved the beautiful thing in public schools. Now, with private things, it's understandable that these people can determine what they want to do. And I have the brochures, different brochures from different schools, and they say they're non-sectarian, but they do believe in the Christian thing, and that the child should attend some church on Sundays.
Now, what is your question then?
My question is, will my child be rejected if she doesn't attend any one of these churches that these schools are saying that the child should attend some church?
I would say that she'd be frowned on. Yes, I think it's unfortunate.
I don't know whether she would be rejected by the school as a student.
No.
But
She means
whether or not
student.
she's going to be rejected by the students. Of course. If you
Sure
are,
she will.
If you are in a position, my son was not only rejected, he was beaten up all the time. And if you are in a minority viewpoint such as the Jews, here the Jews have been hounded, their children, and non-believers have been hounded all the time. We've been murdered by hundreds of thousands.
I'm most concerned with my daughter having. Now, it's not possible for me to have my child with me at home.
But you cannot protect your child. As an atheist, one of the things that you should have done so far is to prepare her with enough kind of inner strength that she can face any kind of criticism that comes and let it roll off of her back.
Yes.
And this is the important thing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for calling us.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, may I help you?
Yes, is this Long John Nip?
Yes, this is he.
All right, am I on now?
You certainly are on.
All right, I'd like to ask some questions. Let me tell you.
Well, let's take one question, please.
Well, it's not about religion. It's about history, the history of Jesus. Did he have any, did Mary and Joseph have any of the children besides Jesus?
Reverend Martin, will you answer that question, please?
According to the New Testament record, yes, they had other children.
Did his brothers or sisters follow him in this new religion?
One of his brothers did, James.
Did he need to start a new
There's a
religion?
question about this.
One of his brothers, James, did, and wrote the Epistle of James.
Don't say this so positively. You're not sure. Nobody knows whether
Mrs.
that's
Murray,
his brother or
Mrs.
not.
Murray, would you
Even if it's a story.
kindly at least admit one thing? That you
But
know
make
nothing about the Bible.
You make very positive statements,
I have to, because
Reverend Martin,
I have to.
constantly.
Well, I'm going to, because you make them.
But these statements are just your opinion, and your opinion only. They are not based in historic facts. They're not based in
How do you
biblical
know?
facts.
How do you know?
Based in anything.
How do you know
Are
they're not based in
they,
biblical facts?
that's what I was going to ask.
They are.
Are they in the Bible?
And you are so ignorant of the Bible, it's pitiful. You will go around making
And
it. Wait
this
a minute.
is your
Wait a minute. That's no
opinion.
opinion. I could give you a quiz right now for a first-year Sunday school kid, and you couldn't pass it. You don't know beans about the Bible. You sit here and pretend to be an authority on religion. Your religious background is virtually nil. Now, don't play
Are
something
you
you're not.
finished,
I'm not finished with this. When you talk law, wait.
When know whether or not
wait,
these alleged
wait.
brothers and sisters
When you-
ever wrote this.
When you
Jake.
talk law, Mrs. Murray, when you talk philosophy, when you talk your atheism, and you talk separation of church and state, that's your forte. You're welcome to it, and I'm for you as an American. When you get into the field,
That's decent of you.
thanks. But when you get into religion, you are so ignorant, it's pitiful. You would lecture on...
This
Oh, wait,
is
let me
because
finish.
I don't accept your
Wait a minute.
interpretation
No.
of the Bible. You can have
Wait a
this
minute.
knowledge
Factually.
believe me, because
Wait a
it's
minute.
useless
Wait a minute.
to you and everybody else.
Factually, your knowledge of religion is ridiculous. I made a statement a moment ago. I said, very quietly, James, our Lord's oldest brother, believed in him. His
Oldest
Just
brother?
a moment. Pardon. His eldest
You mean
brother.
he's older than
No, wait a minute.
Jesus?
No, wait a second.
I
James,
thought you know that Jesus...
James the Elder, he's called. Will you let me finish? As he's called in the New Testament. Believe.
Incidentally, were they immaculate conception?
Would you let me finish? Would you let me
Or
finish?
did Joseph have a part in that?
Madam, do you permit courtesy? Thank you. You made a statement, a clear statement. You said, nobody knows. It's not even a matter of biblical fact. The tape will bear this out. Now, how would you know it's a matter
Boy,
of
are
biblical
you
fact?
hung up on these tapes?
It's not a matter of
You rent
biblical
them
fact.
to go home and
Wait a
listen to
minute.
them all the time to hear your voice?
Wait a minute. No, to hear yours. This is the point. You do not know whether the New Testament makes the statement or not. But you said... now
Number
listen.
one, there is no
wait,
such a thing
wait,
as four authentic books of the
wait,
New Testament.
wait.
Number two, nobody knows who wrote them. Nobody knows when they were written. Nobody knows what they refer to. John is so wild, it's fantastic. Nobody
Mrs.
knows
Murray,
where the Q
Mrs.
source is.
Murray,
Nobody. You don't know
Mrs.
a
Murray,
thing about
Mrs. Murray,
the Bible.
since you're such an
It's
expert...
a conglomeration
Wait a
of rubbish.
Since you're such an expert...
And you're an expert on rubbish.
Just a moment. Would you tell me what the Q source is?
Who knows?
You don't?
Who knows what Kelly?
You don't.
Who knows this?
You don't know. I do.
No, you do not. You know a couple theories about it that have been advanced.
You're not
by
going to
a
get off
bunch
the
of
hook on this.
A certain religious,
John, you're going to stick with this
religious
point if you're
scholars.
honest. She made a statement. It's not biblical. If it's in the Bible, it's
If
biblical.
it's in the Bible, it is biblical. You may disagree with it.
No.
Wait a minute.
No.
You may no. You can disagree with it. But if it's in the Bible, it is biblical.
We are right now. No, for instance, we are right now having a tremendous argument with the biblical scholars as well.